said that they have switched from gas to some charcoal, some firewood. Interesting, wouldn't you say? Well, the price of this, liquefied petroleum gas, obviously has caused a lot of people to begin to think about other options they might be willing to try out, just because it has become almost unbearable for us all in Nigeria. People who used to buy 12.5 kg at 4,000 naira, some 4,500 naira, right now are buying at 8,500 naira, some places 9,000 naira, and one lady actually says she got her 12.5 kg gas filled for 11,000 naira in Abuja. It is alarming, to say the least. I'm being joined in the studio by my colleague Chioma Ezewafo. We're going to talk about how, this price is biting on the side. You're welcome, Chioma.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Cooking gas.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's been crazy all year, and now we're talking about it. And for me, I've always said we need to look at this, because if we continue to watch it rise every week, because it's rising weekly, by year end we'll be looking at 10,000. So here, listening to you tell me now that some are already buying 11,000, that's very concerning for an economy that is barely surviving, that's barely returned from what COVID-19 did to it.
And what I find the most interesting is not just how Nigerians are dealing with this price, this high, rise in the price, but the government's posture, really. I find that quite interesting.
Yes, I know that the last time the Minister of State for Petroleum, Timothy Silva, said that, they were working out something, but nothing, and of course, we know when they talk like that, nothing concrete is really being done. But when you look at the people in the business, that's the oil and gas stakeholders, they'll tell you that what one thing long-term that needs to be done long-term is for us to work towards getting these things produced in the country. And it's not impossible. All you have to do is for us to fix our refineries. And short-term is to remove VAT, because that's the bone of contention here. They added VAT to the whole importation process, and capiche. We see what's going on. So why we always have to deal with situations like this, where a sudden change in policy doesn't consider how it would affect. You don't look at the timing. Okay, the economy is already dealing with inflation. Month by month, we continue to see increase in the cost of food items, increase in the cost of every other thing, transportation, what they call it, fuel, the normal petrol. Nothing is spared in Nigeria, and perhaps cooking gas would have been an area where government
just catch a breather.
But they didn't let us. Okay, so everything just has to be implemented, and electricity is also not spared. Everything has to be implemented, and no one is considering all the English about what are all those English about palliatives, about tax holidays, about all of what is supposed to make Nigerians really not feel the impact of what COVID-19 did. We're not feeling it, because shortly after either one increment or one grant was given, or all of that, what follows isn't what can help you enjoy what it is any of the any Nigerian got. What follows is what would take all of what you've gotten, whether it's minimum wage for civil servants, 30,000 naira minimum wage, which was the fight continued for a very long time, and finally when it was given to them, another breath that followed it was we're removing subsidy, and then VAT, it went to 7.5.
Like giving me money with one hand, taking it with the other hand.
And it's difficult to explain. I'm not an economist, but it's difficult to explain that government really has Nigerians at the center of what they are doing. It really appears like someone is deliberate about Nigerians not, getting to have, fall in love again with Nigeria and have that future where everything is where it's supposed to be. The cost of food items are, affordable. At least you can buy 15 naira bread, but these days it's not possible. You cannot buy. I was actually trying to get bimbos this morning. I only call it akara, and they said there's no more 15 naira akara, Gabi. Okay, so when you talk about people switching to alternatives, that's them trying to survive. It's because cooking gas was supposed to be really easy, and I know we bought about 3,000 something earlier this year, and then it kept going up and up and up every every 2 weeks is usually when I get to buy mine. And so I watched it go up every 2 weeks, and I had to go back there. 1,000 naira just kept going on top of it and on top of it and on top of it. And I remember asking, why is it important that it had to happen after the COVID-19? A lot of those questions haven't been answered, and Nigerians are losing faith really fast. So alternatives, let's look at the alternatives for a moment. When you look at kerosene, for instance, is not available.
And the law of demand and supply is obviously, at play now, because more people are demanding for it.
Even before the demand and supply situation,
the prices already started to rise.
Yes, a lot of. I spoke to some oil as the import. What they call them, IPMAN now, the major marketers and the petroleum marketers. I spoke to some of them, and they said that the cost to import kerosene is really high, and so how much are you going to sell it if you have to import it? And so that's why a lot of people, they left it for them, if you know what I mean. They left it for them, and so them have taken over this market.
And then you have the fears of adulterated kerosene.
That's actually the them I'm talking about. The poor fire people and the people that they left this business to. And of course, we know the danger of using that. I mean, the several fire incidents,
several of them,
are all linked to adulterated of this kind of product. So the alternatives aren't really alternative when you look at the fact that it's not being properly regulated. Okay, if they are able to refine locally and they're not doing it well and it's causing fire incidents, it simply means that it's not an alternative, because that's a death sentence. Like I spoke to the NSCDC people yesterday, and they're saying, people are saying that, what do you want us to do? If the price of cooking gas is so high, and even firewood is not cheap. It's not cheap to find firewood, and then it's not all kinds of wood. There are certain kinds of wood that are used for you to be able to use for cooking. So if we're saying that we should not use firewood, they're saying if you're leaving us with the option of kerosene and you still want to come after us,
charcoal maybe.
Yeah, charcoal. How long can you really wait for that one to cook your food? How long can you really wait? So realistically, it's sawdust is usually even better than charcoal. Sawdust.
Yeah.
I find that one really better.
Using it?
Yeah, I've not used it before. I've not used charcoal
but
before.
You're thinking to use sawdust though?
Do we even have the patience for it? Cooking gas has really spoiled us. I mean, everyone is so spoiled when it comes to cooking gas, and we all switch so fast. And this has happened before, by the way, Gabi. I think in late 90s, if I remember clearly, that was when a lot of Nigerians had to opting for cheaper alternatives to cooking, and that was why we started using cooking stoves, and then at least the kerosene was not adulterated kerosene, and you could plan to an extent. But with the way cooking gas is going, you cannot plan with your income. You cannot plan. You have to stay with you have to someone actually said that it appears it's cheaper to buy food than to cook it.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, because when you're buying, you're just getting the food.
Right.
But the thought that you have to go to the market. Okay, we all go to the market, let's say every weekend, and then you have a certain amount of money you have to spend. And everything just keeps shrinking every week. And you're never sure that when you're going back again, that it's going to be the same amount. It's always going to have increased. It's never at the same amount. Okay, so the alternatives, I don't really see them as alternatives.
So what can Nigerians do at this point? Because I mean, one would feel better knowing that we do have alternatives. If push comes to shove, for instance, I know that I can always fall back to charcoal or firewood or something if it gets really that bad. But right now, understanding that these seeming alternatives may not necessarily be adequate alternatives. What then can Nigerians do at this time?
I think we should speak up. I think we should stop being passive. I think, and I'm aware that right now that some people are at the NDDC gate trying to protest and they're asking for a board. I think that's the kind of energy that we need to channel to the relevant agencies and ask that, first of all, kerosene should be made available. And when I mean kerosene should be made available, I mean, because right now NNPC, and I think NNPC appears to be the only one that is able to even give that access. But when you sort out whatever it is that the problem, is, which is number one, access to forex, number two, access to forex, and then the cost in the market. Okay, help the oil marketers to be able to get these products into the country, and so it reduces the weight and the burden for the NNPC. That's one. The other part is the current situation of the cooking gas. Let's review the policy that says that you have to put VAT now. Okay, same way we had to all say that we should wait on the electricity tariff increase. Let's do things gradually and let's not let it happen suddenly. That's the same way we should also do for cooking gas, because I mean a high percentage of Nigerians are being put at risk with the current situation. That's the price of cooking gas pushing more people to resort to these adulterated kerosene. I mean, that's another fire we're looking at. Okay, because people are not even able to keep the simple safety rules, like if you must use these items, and yeah, they are the only ones available. If you must use them, do not use them inside your house. Use them outdoors only. But not many people have such spaces for you to be able to cook openly and all of that. So most people still have to cook indoors and cook in their homes. And okay, so let's look at the bigger picture, that the more we continue to allow this situation means that it's going to affect every other thing, including the safety of Nigerians, because more and more fires are going to happen, and that's not good enough. So we need everyone to pull their weight together and demand that the government look at the current situation when it comes to cooking gas and review the policy that has led to its rise. And it's beyond the English and beyond because I know that for each time they ask Timi Silva, that's the minister, they said they are working out something, but it's been months. The last time he spoke, it's been perhaps 4 months since he talked about cooking gas, and we've not seen any change. Everything it just keeps going up, and now you're telling me that it's 11,000 naira. Last time I bought it was 8,500. That was about 2 weeks ago. So this weekend I'm supposed to fill another cylinder, and I'm sure that the 8,500
maybe could be 8,700 now, or 9,000.
Yeah,
or
so
something.
we need to speak up and have more of these conversations and let it be clear. We may not have to carry a placard, but we all need to pull our weight together and stay on the conversation of cooking gas and its increase, and the government listening to it and sorting out whatever needs to be sorted out, including the removal of VAT, so that we know we're only dealing with the fact that we do not produce cooking, we're not able to produce it as a nation, and we have to import it, and there's nothing we can do about oil prices and all of that. The one we can handle, which is the VAT, let's handle it.
We'd like for you to join the conversation now. We have about 10 minutes left for this. How are you coping with this price of gas? I really want to know. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. You can also call 0817-923-0007 or 0817-923-0009. On WhatsApp, it's 0809-030-6416. We're also streaming live on Facebook. We've got quite a number of people watching us on Facebook right now. So you can go on Facebook and search at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH, and you can join the live stream and drop your comments on there as well. Good afternoon, you're welcome.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome. All right, you're going to have to call me back when you're ready. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
I'm coping very badly. I bought, I think, 5 kg for only 3,000. Then the last time I bought 4 kg for about, I think, 4,000 or so. So how will I cope? We are running an economy that does not produce. We have gas, it's being flared. We cannot pipe it to our homes. So what is the government doing? The government stopped thinking a long time ago. It's only taxing the people. Tax. We run an economy where our currency is auctioned every week, and the currency loses traction and value every week. So we devalue our currency every week. And they call it Dutch auction, second-tier foreign exchange. Now I'm sure we're in the 10th year foreign exchange. We are running a very bad economy. The economy that does not produce cannot be sustained. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contributions. Good afternoon. You're welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is Commander Olutu calling you from Bayelsa.
Go ahead.
First of all, I thank you for the good topic you brought up this afternoon. People are really passing through difficult situation. I went to the village yesterday. For long, they've stopped using firewood before. But my mom has asked somebody to bring fresh firewood for her because they cannot continue with the kerosene and the gas. And it's really difficult. Even if we are working, we are finding it difficult. Money that you can give to 2 persons, now you can't even give it to 1 person. And he will appreciate it. Please, what the other lady suggests, let's come together without violence. Let's just occupy the streets. We can't sit down like this and every day things are getting higher. Initially, non-perishable products, they don't tax them. But what we are facing now, even those things, they are taxing it. Please, we can't continue like this and be complaining. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Look, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
From Nkoro.
Go ahead.
I believe if everybody go back to firewood, this will bring the cost of gas down. But if you go back to maybe 8,500, the next day go is 10,000. The next day, before December, it will reach up to 20,000. And they want to put it in marriage list now. Gas will be in marriage list.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I'm telling you. If you want to marry now, they'll put gas inside the marriage list. That's what they want to do now. You should do something about it. If you go to filling station now to buy crazy, you won't see crazy. And you're stopping this one. And this crazy that these boys are using are very dangerous. They should produce crazy now. It's not good. People are dying through this crazy. You go to filling station, you can't buy crazy again. Before you buy crazy in filling station, you should do something about it, please. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ida, for your thoughts as well. I find that quite funny, Choma. Imagine having to go, marry a woman and you have to buy gas.
Get that. And for me, I think it reminds me of what we're talking about recently as well. When we talked about food prices, the fact that Nigerians would rather find a way to benefit from a bad situation than push for the bad situation to become a good one. And that's also one of the things we deal with. And it's not nice. So
we are also part of the problem.
Yeah, for this case, partially. We are partially. But like I said, people are on survival mode right now. Like the survival mode.
Anything to survive.
Yeah, survival mode is on red alert. So we have blue, green, red. So it's gone from blue to red, red, everyday red. And that's why I say that we channel our energy to talking to our government. So go back and look at, it's time for you to actually know those representing you at your various wards and various constituencies. It's time for you to know. You cannot continue to say it's none of your business, you don't like politics, or now you see what you're not liking politics getting you into. Okay, so it's time for you to join a political party and get involved. Really. Get involved in choosing who your leaders are. I was reading this, watching this video about Gaddafi, and what I haven't fact-checked what I'm about to share, but it got me thinking about him. Okay, they said he was a president who made sure that education was free in his country, and the country never owed. They were never in debt, and what they call it, health as well, was also accessible. And for cases where they weren't able to deal with that situation, they could fly to anywhere in the country, and it was all expense paid by the government. That was Libya. And it sounded like a dream. Like, isn't that like the Nigerian dream? But it happened in Africa. And if it could happen in Libya, they also have oil, remember? Those situations can also be our case here. But because we are so passive and we think, not them, we shouldn't be a part of it, or you're not Christian enough when you're getting involved in politics, or we need to change all that mindset, because now you see, you cannot buy 15 naira bread. Like the last caller said, certain money that you could easily give people, now it looks like an insult when you think about giving someone a certain amount of money of that nature. So we need to really see that is important, that we get involved in choosing who the leaders are. Okay, so that you also know, it's called civic engagement. All right, so it's time for us to take civic engagement seriously. Recently in my area, for about 2 weeks, we didn't have power supply. And I found it very concerning that nobody was asking questions. We all just drive in the morning, drive out in the morning, drive back in the evening. Oh no, everybody just turns on their generator and everyone just kept on moving. And nobody ever
Stops to even ask
Oh,
why.
I remember reaching out to the company and I asked them, why hasn't this area seen power supply for this number of days? And they started explaining to me. And then they started wondering that I'm like the first person from this area who's come to ask. And it got me wondering again. We need to push for more people to learn how to normalize asking questions so that the next leaders will also get used to being asked questions. Because if we continue to play passive, the next government would feel very insulted when the very few that have been asking questions ask again. They'll say they have an agenda. And most times you do not have an agenda. You just want things to be better. Just want things to be better.
Well, we do have some comments on Facebook. Sonari Harrison Kalayo says, it's not easy, but we are surviving. We're still cooking beans, he says. Prince Monday says, the government should do something about it. It is really worrisome. Olowo Lagba Sahid says, Nigerians aren't finding it easy. We'll take a final call and we'll wrap the conversation up. Good afternoon and welcome.
Hello, Gabby.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, fun afternoon to you. I am a stakeholder in the oil and gas industry. My name is Commander Ruben here.
Go ahead.
I see the problem with gas, partly caused by government and also caused by players like me, not me, people who are bigger than me in the LPG, the white product industry. Grid is the major challenge we are having. The government decided not to pay subsidy, and they added that some persons now capitalize on it just to make huge profit. But I'm bringing you the good news now that there will be reduction in the price of gas. I'm giving you an insider information. If you go to buy gas today, as I'm talking to you today, compare the price to last week, even today is Tuesday, right? Even on Monday, the price today will be less than Saturday, Sunday, and on Monday. And in days to come, there will still be more reduction in price because there was a serious meeting by some key stakeholders in the industry for there to be reduction in price because it's suffer and the price is too much for Nigerians to bear. So there's good news.
Okay.
As it's here, I've been in this industry for over 8 years. Many years ago, we do have increase in price during the Christmas period. But this time around, it's going to be December again. December will now experience reduction, not as it's here that we experience the increase in price. There will be serious reduction in price.
We're going to definitely follow up on that.
We'll have to. Well, our time is almost up. Just like a few comments here on WhatsApp, and we'll wrap this up. Bright from Omoku says, good afternoon, Gabby and Choma. The gas where everybody done the use in peace since. I reach my turn, then go increase the price. I really do not know how to classify our nation, Nigeria, right now. It's disturbing. This says, we aren't copying at all, Gabby. We really need to carry placards now because that's the only language the government understands. We're fainting, and the government is only doing lip service without working out anything. This is what the government has left us with to use, and we pray daily for God to avert fire, accidents, or explosions. You see the picture he sends of a kerosene stove. Final words, Jim, as a wrap up.
You know, I think it's also a good time. As I just saw the picture the person shared on WhatsApp, that's a kerosene stove, and I have 2 kerosene stoves at home, Gabby. A big one and a small one. I haven't brought them out in years. So I had my support system kept complaining. She felt that she could do something about my situation. Like, we cannot continue to spend like this. And so she went to buy kerosene and wanted to separate it. So we went to boil water and there is no power supply. I would use this to boil water and not the gas. And I got a call that there was an explosion in my house.
Wow.
And thank God she was very proactive. And then without me telling her, she just knew that was not an option anymore. And so I shared this because I know that I am not the only one. That is all of us. So when we have conversations like this and people think it's for them and it's not for all of us, we need to start thinking that we're all involved in together. This. And if that caller is actually an oil and gas stakeholder like he claims, and he's saying is going to go down, I am definitely going to stay on the story to find out exactly how that's going to happen and what they've done. Okay? And because, of course, the VAT situation is a Finance Act situation, so that's the law. Okay, so if you're going to exclude cooking gas, how is that going to work exactly? I'm definitely going to stay on that.
Choma?
And please do not use adulterated kerosene.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. We'll wrap up now. 1 o'clock, the news updates. Don't go away.